It starts with something small, too small to mean anything, maybe, but it does. I'm standing at the sink rinsing out the coffee mugs when Emma calls out from the hallway, voice light, almost too light. Don't forget to eat. There's pasta in the fridge. Thanks. I call back, drying my hands on a dish towel. You heading out soon? In a bit, she says. Just meeting the girls for a drink before the corporate thing kicks off. She says it like it's routine, like it's something she's said before, and she has, too many times lately. I turn toward the dining table, where she's placing down 2 empty wine glasses next to neatly folded napkins. A little odd, considering she just said she wouldn't be home for dinner. But Emma's always been the type to do things half ritualistically, half aesthetically. Even when no one's looking, even when she doesn't plan to be here, she's dressed up. Not overly, just enough to notice. Simple black dress, gold accents at her ears, and that beige coat I haven't seen in almost a year. Last winter she said the zipper was stuck, but I guess it healed. As she moves to grab her bag, I see her checking herself in the hallway mirror, adjusting her hair once, twice, smoothing down a part of her coat, lips pursed, then relaxed. Her reflection flickers between confident and careful. Then it happens. She turns to open the door, and something slips from the coat pocket, flutters silently to the hardwood floor like a forgotten leaf. She doesn't notice. I do. It's a folded bar receipt. I kneel and pick it up. The paper is still warm from her pocket. 2 drinks, charged at 4:47 p.m. An old-fashioned and a Vesper. Not exactly a girls' night kind of combo. The bar is the one inside the Renaissance Hotel, attached to her office building. I've been there once, company event a year ago. Very sleek, very dark, very expensive. Not a casual drop-in. I flip the receipt over. On the back is a folded napkin. It smells faintly of cologne. Something sharp and unfamiliar, definitely not mine. And written in pen, scrawled across the linen in quick strokes, are the words, Room 1711, guest access confirmed. Before I can speak, I hear the tiny chirp from her smartwatch. I glance up just in time to catch the preview flash across her wrist. Subject: your digital key code for room 1711 is now active. I look at her. She looks at me. And for a split second, everything freezes. Then she laughs. Just a soft exhale through her nose. Like this is all mildly amusing. What? She says, tilting her head. Something wrong. I hold the receipt between 2 fingers. You dropped this. She takes it, looks at it, folds it neatly, and tucks it back into her purse like she's just collecting an old grocery list. Oh, that, she says, breezy and composed. Work thing. We were doing prep at the hotel before the event. Marketing rented a suite for gear storage and vendor check-ins. It was easier than commuting back and forth. Room 1711? Yeah, she says without missing a beat. That one. And the drinks. She shrugs, zipping her purse slowly. Is this really a thing right now? I'm just asking. She meets my eyes, calm, unreadable. You're doing that thing again, Alex. What thing? That thing where I say one completely normal sentence, and you turn it into a whole interrogation. Her voice isn't angry. It's measured, controlled, practiced. I didn't say it wasn't normal, I reply. But the key code? The bar? The room number on a napkin? She sighs, brushing her hair behind one ear. Seriously? You think I'm doing something shady at a hotel the entire company's using? Grow up. I pause, trying to collect my thoughts, trying not to leap to conclusions. But the truth is, it doesn't feel like a leap anymore. It feels like the ground has already shifted under my feet. I start to say, but she cuts me off. Please don't spiral again tonight. I don't want to have one of those fights right before a professional event. I'm already late. Emma. She turns back to the mirror, applying a light layer of gloss. She looks flawless, like nothing is wrong, like I'm the only one who feels something unraveling. You know what this is? She says, facing me again. It's control. You can't handle not knowing every detail, so you fill in the blanks with suspicion. I tell you I'm working late, and suddenly I'm cheating. I say I'm meeting the girls, and you start scanning receipts like a cop. It's exhausting. I bite the inside of my cheek. I've heard this speech before. She picks up her purse, then stops, turning toward me. Her voice softens, the way it does when she wants to end a conversation without resolution. I love you, okay? But I can't keep tiptoeing around your paranoia. You have to trust me, or we don't work. Then she kisses me on the cheek like she always does before walking out the door. Like this is any other night. Enjoy the pasta, she says. The door shuts. She's gone. And I'm still standing there, holding a truth that no amount of deflection can bury. I sit down at the table she set. 2 wine glasses, 1 plate, no cutlery. It hits me that she never intended to stay for dinner. She didn't forget. She never planned to eat with me. The glasses, the folded napkins, all of it just camouflage. A quick stage set to keep me from asking too many questions. She knows me well enough to know I'd stay calm if the optics looked domestic. But the illusion's wearing thin. The thing is, this isn't the first time. Just the first time it's come with a receipt. I start remembering things. The little things that seemed benign at first, but now land like static crackling in the back of my skull. 3 weeks ago, she came home smelling like unfamiliar perfume. Said it was her coworker's birthday. They hugged, and some of it probably rubbed off. 2 months ago, she changed her phone passcode after a security breach at work. Last Sunday, she asked me if I could start using Venmo for groceries, so the joint account didn't get messy. And now this, the drinks, the napkin, the hotel suite she didn't want to explain. The sudden defensiveness, even though I hadn't accused her of anything. It's not just one thing, it's everything. It's the whole tone of her voice. The way she prepared the room like a crime scene that needed staging. The way she pulled out the paranoia card. Not because I was wrong, but because it was the easiest P*N she had. And it worked. Almost. But something about that receipt. I fish my phone out of my pocket and type Renaissance Hotel Room 1711 into Google. Nothing specific comes up. I try searching their floor layout. Still nothing. I consider calling the front desk, pretending I left something there. But I stop myself. I'm not going to spiral. Not yet. I need to stay clear-headed. I need to see more. So instead, I open our shared calendar. Something we've both used for years. Something I hadn't checked in a while. Her week is blocked out in gray. No labels. Just busy. Every day. Including weekends. I scroll through her recent texts. Nothing. Empty threads with names like Work Crew, Marketing Girls, and Danny Book Club books. No real conversations. Just placeholders. And then it hits me. She's been curating her digital trail. Deleting, rewriting, staging. Just like she staged dinner tonight. Like she staged the receipt as a non-event. Only she didn't mean to drop it. And that's the crack in the glass. The first real one. After she leaves, the house feels different. Not just quiet, hollow. Like it's been emptied of something that used to live in the walls. I don't touch the pasta. I don't move, not at first. I just sit there in the stillness, watching the soft swing of the front door as it settles into the frame. Outside, the wind rattles the porch lantern. Inside, everything else is still. But my mind's already racing. It starts with the receipt. The weight of it. The way it fell out of her coat like the universe was tired of watching me pretend not to see. Like it decided, tonight's the night he stops being blind. And once it starts, once the suspicion really roots itself, there's no going back. Because now everything starts to click. The late nights at work that came out of nowhere. She never used to stay past 6. Then it became once a week. Then twice. Then don't wait up. The nights she'd come home already showered. Makeup washed off. Hair still damp. Always with some vague excuse, hot yoga, late meetings, spilled coffee. I believed her. Or at least I wanted to. But now I remember how she stopped sharing photos from work events. Emma used to love those. She'd come home showing me selfies with her team. candid sh*ts from conferences, little inside jokes and captions. It was our thing. I tease her about being the office socialite. Lately, nothing. And when I checked her company's Instagram last week, something I rarely did, there she was in the background of a post, smiling, glass of wine in hand, standing next to her boss, Michael, arm brushing his, heads tilted together like they shared a secret. At the time, I brushed it off, told myself I was being petty, jealous, that she was allowed to have friends at work. But now I remember the look on her face when I casually mentioned seeing the photo, that half-second of stillness, like her body froze before her mouth caught up. Oh, she'd said, that was just a team toast. Michael was thanking everyone. Then she changed the subject. And I let her. God, how many times did I let her? I stand up and start pacing the kitchen. The floor creaks slightly under my steps. Our cat, Luna, watches me from the top of the stairs with disapproval, her eyes blinking slow and judgmental. I open my phone, go back through my calendar. The Thursday yoga sessions, the Sunday book club that, now that I think about it, never discussed a single book. I texted her once during one of those meetups. Just a simple, how's it going? She didn't respond for hours. When she finally did, it was a vague, great, busy night red heart. I asked her afterward which book they were reading. She paused, said she couldn't remember the title, that it had a long name. I believed her. I wanted to believe her. But something in her eyes that night gave her away. The way they flicked left before she answered. The way she kissed me too quickly and changed the subject before I could press. I opened the Find My app. She turned off location sharing 3 weeks ago. Claimed it was draining her battery. Before that, her phone had pinged once near City Park on a Saturday night. A place she had no reason to be. I asked her about it casually. Oh, that must have been a GPS glitch, she said, brushing past me. I was at Danny's all night. The same Danny who, when I ran into her at a coffee shop last week, looked surprised when I mentioned the yoga sessions. Emma does yoga? She asked. Since when? She wasn't being shady. She was genuinely confused. Another crack. I sit down at my desk and pull open the drawer where I keep my old journals. Half-used notebooks. Things I stopped writing in once life got too busy. I flip through a list from earlier this year. A dumb New Year's resolution thing. Things I want to get better at. Number 1, be less suspicious. Number 2, give Emma more space. Number 3, stop overthinking. I laugh bitterly. I actually thought I was the problem. That maybe I was smothering her. That if I gave her more space, she'd drift back into the relationship instead of further away. But space didn't fix anything. It just gave her more room to disappear. I remember the night it all first felt off. June. We were supposed to go to her cousin's birthday. She begged off last minute. Said she had a migraine, told me to go without her. I did. And when I got home 2 hours later, she was gone. Came back after midnight. Smelled like mint and citrus and smoke. I asked how she was feeling. She said better. Her headache broke. She didn't explain where she'd gone. I didn't ask. I should have asked. Instead, I told myself, trust her. Don't make it weird. Don't be the jealous husband. But the signs kept piling up. Like the time I picked her up from work unexpectedly. She was already outside, but not alone. She was talking to Michael. Again. Laughing at something he said. He touched her arm briefly, and she didn't move. When she spotted me, her face changed. It was only for a moment, but I saw it. Panic, guilt, maybe even annoyance. She walked over to the car slowly. Said she was just catching up on Q3 numbers. And I nodded. Like an idiot. Now I realize how good she is at creating noise to distract from the signal. When she's cornered, she doesn't get defensive. She gets righteous. Turns it around. Calls me controlling, jealous, too intense. And because I love her, because I don't want to be that guy, I always retreat. But I see the pattern now. Deny, deflect, accuse, escape. It's a playbook. And I'm done being in it. I walk back into the living room. Her scarf is draped over the back of the couch. I pick it up. It smells like that new perfume, the one she said was a client gift from work. She used to wear light florals. This is stronger, more mature, like she's trying on someone else's skin. Even the way she dresses has changed. Less cozy, more polished. New shoes, new bags. She says she's investing in her professional image. But she's not networking. She's transforming. Carefully. Deliberately. And I don't know who she's becoming. Or worse, who she's becoming it for. I checked the clock. Almost 8:30. I could drive downtown. Pretend I forgot something. Show up at the hotel. But I stop myself. If I confront her without proof, she'll twist it. She always does. She'll make me feel like the villain in my own story. No, not this time. This time I'll wait. Watch. Collect. Because this isn't about catching her in a lie. It's about reclaiming my sanity. She told me not to come. Those were her exact words when I asked if I should stop by the corporate banquet. You don't need to, she said with a light laugh. It's mostly boring speeches and half-warm buffet food. Just a formality. But something in her tone was too smooth, too rehearsed. Like she'd already played this scene out in her head. She was ready for me to ask. Ready to turn me down. So I didn't argue. I just waited. And an hour later, after she left in a rush, no goodbye kiss, just the clatter of heels on hardwood and the swish of her beige coat. I pulled out the small manila folder I'd stashed under the couch cushion. Inside, the receipt from the hotel bar, the napkin with room 1711 scrawled across it, a screen grab of her smartwatch's incoming key code notification, and a printed copy of her company's ethics policy, which I found online that morning. Page 6, Section 2. 3. Romantic relationships between managerial staff and their direct reports are strictly prohibited, regardless of mutual consent, if the relationship creates or appears to create a conflict of interest. Emma's boss, Michael, is her direct manager. I call a rideshare and head downtown. The event's being held at the Renaissance Hotel, the same one where her digital key was activated. She mentioned it a few times over the past month, always with a casual wave of her hand. We're doing everything in-house this year, she said. Ballroom, catering, lodging for out-of-towners. All in the same place. I step out of the car and into the lobby, taking a second to blend in. The place is buzzing, waitstaff weaving through guests, the sound of low jazz playing near the back bar, and clusters of men and women in suits laughing too loudly. I spot the signage for her company near the check-in table. A whiteboard easel welcomes guests to the annual achievement celebration. I walk past it like I belong here. In a way, I do. I follow the signs toward the ballroom and glance around. Lots of people, hundreds maybe, spread across tables. There's a stage, a projector running a slideshow of employee highlights, and an open bar near the back wall. I scan the crowd once. Nothing. Then I see the elevator bay across the lobby. I head that way, then pause. No. Too risky. I double back toward the lounge area on the other side of the lobby. Quieter, dimly lit, and clearly not part of the main event. There's a bar there too. Sleek. Int asterisk mate. The kind of place where people go to hide in plain sight. That's where I find her. She's not alone. She's sitting on a velvet love seat near the window, legs crossed toward him, her body language unmistakably relaxed. Comfortable. Her heels dangle off her toes. One hand wraps around a glass of wine. The other rests lightly on the table between them. Michael leans in. He's wearing a fitted navy suit, tie loosened, posture casual. His hand is dangerously close to hers. Too close. Their knees are nearly touching. And then, as I watch from the corner near the host's stand, he reaches out, just briefly, and brushes a strand of hair behind her ear. She smiles. Not a polite smile. Not a thanks for the help kind of smile. A different kind. Int asterisk mate. Familiar. And then she kisses him. Quick, but not rushed. Deliberate. A lean in. A whisper. A pause. Press of lips. I don't breathe. I just watch. And in that moment, the ground beneath my feet doesn't collapse. It firms. The doubt I've been carrying for months dissolves into clarity. I raise my phone and hit record. A clean 20-second clip. Then I walk away. I don't confront her. Don't throw a drink. Don't make a scene. I already have everything I need. By midnight, the folder is on the desk of Heather Lang, the company's director of human resources. I found her name on their website, along with her email and LinkedIn profile. She'd posted photos earlier that evening congratulating the leadership team. One of the slides showed Emma's team accepting an award. Michael stood behind her in the photo, hand on her shoulder, smiling. Attached to my email is everything: the video, the bar receipt, the digital key code with a timestamp, a screenshot *T of Emma's calendar marked work prep, private suite, the company's ethics policy with section 2.3 highlighted. The subject line is simple: conflict of interest, documentation attached. I don't send it out of spite. I send it because Emma made her choice. And now I'm making mine. The fallout begins the next morning. She doesn't come home that night. When I wake up, her side of the bed is untouched. I check my phone. No messages. No missed calls. At 10:12 a.m. she walks through the door. No explanation. No apology. Just the smell of hotel soap and the click of her heels across the tile. Morning, she says, like nothing happened. I stare at her for a long time. She pours herself coffee, sits down at the kitchen island, starts scrolling her phone. Then it buzzes. She looks at the screen, frowns. HR just emailed me, she says, more confused than alarmed. They want to talk about potential policy violations. She glances up. Do you know anything about that? I don't answer. She narrows her eyes. Alex. Still nothing. She shakes her head and scoffs. Unbelievable. You really went there? Now she's mad. Now she's found her angle. You went behind my back and tried to ruin my career? She says. Seriously? Over some half-baked theory about what me being too friendly with my boss? I pull out my phone and open the video. I press play. She watches. Her face drops. And for the first time in months, she has no words. Just silence. I let the clip finish, then lock my phone and place it face down. I didn't ruin your career, I say quietly. You did. By the end of the week, it's official. Emma is terminated for professional misconduct. The HR director calls to confirm the investigation outcome. She says both Emma and Michael were found in violation of multiple policies, including inappropriate workplace relationships, misuse of company lodging, and falsified expense reports related to the hotel bar tab. They've both been let go. No severance. No appeals. Just gone. She tries to spin it as retaliation. Tells her friends I framed her. That I was insecure and obsessed. But the screenshot *TS say otherwise. So does the ethics clause she signed on her onboarding paperwork 4 years ago. And I don't say anything. I don't need to. She's already said enough. When you strip away the noise, the lies, the excuses, the tension, what's left behind isn't silence. There's something worse. The stillness. That's what the house became after her dismissal. A quiet battleground where nothing was said, but everything was felt. Like walking through a house just after a storm. The windows intact, the walls still standing, but the foundation shifted in ways you can't see, only feel. Emma came home the day she got fired like she still had some leverage. She opened the door with her chin high, tossed her purse onto the entryway table, and said in a clipped voice, I hope you're happy. No hi, no apology, just blame. I didn't answer. I was at the kitchen counter, paying bills, sipping coffee I didn't even want. She waited for me to say something. When I didn't, she let out a bitter laugh and walked upstairs. That was the first day of the war. No explosions. No screaming. Just a slow, unraveling kind of hostility, quiet but constant. She blamed me, of course. Said we *P*nized a personal moment. That I humiliated her professionally. Said I'd twisted the narrative to make her look like the villain. But I didn't need to twist anything. She handed me the truth, and I simply stopped looking away. Within a week, we became two ghosts living in the same house. Meals were taken separately. Conversations happened only through text or email, even when we were in the same room. The emails were always sterile, practical. Subject, groceries. Body, I picked up the basics. Fridge is stocked. Subject, mail. Body, IRS letter for you. I left it on the counter. That was our marriage now. Bullet points and blank stares. I'd leave early in the morning, come back late, sometimes on purpose, just to avoid crossing paths. When I was home, I kept to the spare room. Not the couch. Not some half-baked, I'll sleep here for the night gesture. I moved in fully drawers, socks, phone charger, razor. She stayed in the master bedroom like she was still entitled to it. Sometimes I'd hear her through the door. Pacing, typing, sighing too loudly. I never knocked. Not once. She still lit candles like nothing had happened. Still watered the plants. Still turned on the news at 6. Her routine didn't change. Just her role in it. It was like she was trying to preserve the illusion of normalcy by force. But the photos started disappearing from the shelves. First, the one of us in Seattle. Then the one from our wedding. The black and white print she used to say looked like it belonged in a magazine. Gone. She didn't say why. I didn't ask. One morning I opened the cabinet and found the mugs I hated shoved up front. The ones I joked about donating last Christmas. My favorite one, the navy blue one with the chipped handle, was missing. I found it later, buried at the back of the trash can, still whole. That's the kind of war this was. Not with words, with moves. She froze the thermostat at 65 no matter how cold the house felt. I canceled the streaming services she liked. She swapped the laundry detergent. I stopped buying the almond creamer she used. We didn't argue. We didn't cry. We just kept erasing each other, one petty decision at a time. One night, I came home to find she'd cooked dinner. 3 plates. Not 2. I paused in the hallway, listening. There was music playing, soft jazz, the kind she used to put on during date nights. I stepped into the kitchen. Empty. She appeared a second later from the patio door, holding 2 wine glasses. She saw me and blinked like she'd forgotten I lived here. "Oh," she said flatly. "Didn't think you'd be back this early." Clearly. She moved past me, set the glasses on the table. "You have company?" She didn't answer right away. Just shrugged. "Just a friend. From before." "Before what?" "You know what." She looked at me then, and there was something in her expression that almost resembled pity. Or maybe it was disgust. I walked out before I said something I couldn't walk back. That was the last time I saw her bring someone to the house. But it wasn't the last time I felt someone there. After that, I locked away everything that still had my name on it. Important documents, birth certificates, tax forms, investment files, all went into a fireproof safe I kept at my office. I opened a new bank account, removed my name from anything joint, canceled shared credit cards. She noticed when her Uber got declined. I didn't warn her. She'd warned me in other ways. I also pulled my name off the house's maintenance account. Water, power, Wi-Fi all switched to her name. Quietly, legally. She didn't confront me about it. But I knew she knew, because a few days later, she started job hunting out loud. "I have a second-round interview," she said one morning, while buttering toast she wasn't going to eat. "It's remote. Good pay. I'll be back on my feet soon." I didn't reply, just sipped my coffee and kept reading. "You could say congratulations," she added. I turned the page. She made a sound, half laugh, half snort, and left the room. The strange part was how fast the rot set in. We used to be a team, partners, co-conspirators in life. Now we were just 2 opposing sides sharing a roof and a mailbox. It's surreal how quickly a marriage can turn into a standoff. How fast "I love you" becomes, "I'm not speaking to you unless I have to." We weren't shouting. We weren't trying. We were just enduring. Sometimes I wonder if she was waiting for me to cave, to break first. Maybe she thought if I snapped, yelled, demanded something, then she'd be back in control. She could point to my anger and say, "See, you're the problem." But I never gave her that. Instead, I gave her nothing. And nothing is louder than any scream. The house creaked at night, like it was shrinking under the weight of everything we weren't saying. The fridge would hum, the pipes would groan, the floor would pop. All reminders that the structure was still standing, even if the people inside were not. One night, I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, listening to the soft sound of rain tapping the window. I tried to remember the last time she said my name like she meant it. Not in anger, not in sarcasm, just softly, like she used to. Couldn't remember. Not clearly, anyway. I used to replay our good moments like a highlight reel whenever things got hard, the hikes, the road trips, the lazy Sundays. Now, even those memories feel filtered. Like maybe they weren't as golden as I thought. Maybe they were always a little cracked. 2 weeks after her firing, I got a call from Tom Hayes. Old friend. Fellow vet. We don't talk much, but when we do, it matters. He asked how I was holding up. I lied. Said I was fine. He didn't believe me. Just say the word, he said. If you need anything, a couch, a getaway, someone to get drunk with, I'm here. I thanked him, hung up, then sat there for a long time, just breathing, because for the first time in a long time, someone had asked how I was doing and actually meant it. And I realized Emma hadn't asked me that in months, maybe longer. It happened on a Wednesday afternoon, the kind that starts out ordinary, then rewires your entire life. I was running late, didn't sleep well the night before. Emma was pacing upstairs until after 2 in the morning, then slamming drawers like it was a statement. No words, just noise. I'd left the house without breakfast, barely caffeinated, mind in a fog. On the road to a supplier meeting across town, I kept replaying the same thoughts I'd been cycling through for weeks. What's left to save? What's left to say? How long can 2 people live in the same house while pretending the other doesn't exist? And then a red light, a swerve, a horn I didn't hear until it was too late. I don't remember the full impact, just the sensation of being hit and the weightless moment that came right after. Glass shattered. Metal groaned. My head slammed against something hard, then black. When I woke up, I was in a hospital bed. My ribs ached like hell. My vision swam. My head was bandaged. Someone was speaking softly beside me. A nurse, I guessed. But her voice was muffled through the haze of pink asterisk lures. They told me later I had a mild concussion and 2 fractured ribs. Lucky, they said. The car was totaled. Airbags saved me. A second later or earlier, and it could have been worse. Funny how the word lucky sounds different when your life's already falling apart. I spent the first night alone. Tubes in my arm, monitors beeping, the scent of antiseptic heavy in the air. I stared at the ceiling, floating in and out of sleep, wondering who'd show up. Emma didn't. She never called, never texted. I don't even know if the hospital reached her. Maybe they did. Maybe she saw the name on caller ID and ignored it. Maybe she thought it was just another thing I'd exaggerated. The next morning, someone finally came. But it wasn't her. It was Tom Hayes. Same guy who called me 2 weeks earlier. Same guy who hadn't stopped checking in even when I gave him nothing. He walked in with a cardboard tray of coffee, a grocery bag of Gatorade and protein bars, and a look that said he wasn't here for small talk. You look like crap, he said, pulling up a chair. Thanks. Don't thank me yet. I saw the photos of your car. You're lucky to be breathing. I nodded. My throat was too dry to say anything meaningful. He stayed most of the afternoon. Didn't ask too many questions, didn't press. Just sat there, made jokes, updated me on nonsense from work and the NFL, and at one point put on a rerun of a cooking show we used to watch in the barracks. It didn't fix anything, but it helped. Before he left, he hesitated at the door. You know, he said, Emma's already out. Word is she rented a new place. Mid-rise near 19th Street. I heard she's been throwing parties. I didn't react. Couldn't. She's not your problem anymore, brother, he added. Let her spiral. Then he left. That night, I lay there thinking about all the ways I'd fallen apart. Not just since she cheated, but before. All the tiny ways I let myself get erased. The compromises I made. The silences I accepted. The moments I swallowed my instincts because I didn't want to seem overbearing. But now I had broken bones, a totaled car, and a marriage that had collapsed in slow motion. And still no Emma. The next morning, I woke up to the sound of quiet humming. Not from machines. A voice. Soft. Low. I cracked one eye open. There was someone new in the room. A nurse. She was adjusting my foreline, moving with that fluid confidence only someone experienced could manage. Short dark hair tucked behind her ear, minimal makeup, and eyes that looked like they'd seen everything, and still showed up anyway. She caught me watching her. "Morning," she said, matter of fact. "I didn't wake you, did I?" "No. I've been up," I croaked. "Just pretending not to be." She smiled. "Just a little. I'm Sarah. I've got you for the next few days. We're gonna be best friends whether you like it or not." There was something about her presence. Calm, grounded. No pity in her eyes. No awkward sympathy. Just someone doing her job without pretense. "I can't promise I'll be good company," I said. She started checking the monitor beside me. "That's okay," she replied. "I don't mind quiet people. They bleed slower." Caught me off guard. I laughed and immediately winced. "The ribs." "Careful," she said, smiling now. "Laughter's not recommended, but I'll allow it." She handed me a water bottle without me asking. That kind of gesture shouldn't mean much, but it did. Over the next few days, Sarah was the one constant. She never hovered. Never tried to get me talking like some therapists do when they think you're fragile. She just showed up. With warm blankets. With real coffee when the hospital stuff got too gross. With silence when I needed it and dry wit when I didn't. She told me stories sometimes. Not the kind that feel like filler. The kind people only share when they think you're worth the effort. Like the time she chased a raccoon off a patient's lunch tray in the parking lot. Or the time an old man in her care refused to die until his estranged daughter showed up. Then died 10 minutes later with a smile on his face. "There's a weird poetry in this job," she said once, fluffing the pillow behind me. "You get to witness how people fall apart, and how sometimes they come back stronger. Doesn't always work like that," I muttered. "No," she agreed, "but it can, if they want it." She didn't press. Just walked out of the room like the words were a gift she didn't expect me to unwrap right away. On my third day, I asked her why she became a nurse. She paused for a long time before answering. "My dad died when I was 16, she said, not looking at me. "Car accident. We waited 7 hours in the ER before they saw him. He didn't make it." I remember watching this nurse in the hallway. She was so calm, so present. She held my mom's hand like it was the most important thing in the world. She looked down at the clipboard, adjusting a page. "I wanted to be her," she said. "For someone else." That night, when the hallway lights dimmed and the floor grew quiet, I found myself thinking less about Emma and more about Sarah. Not in some cliché, dramatic way. Not romantically. Just as a contrast. Emma hadn't visited. Not once. She knew I was here. I'm sure of it. I had friends in her circle. Word gets around. But Sarah? She wasn't even supposed to care. I was just another broken body in a hospital bed. And yet she did. By the time I was discharged, the bruises were yellowing, the headache was gone, and my ribs still screamed every time I reached for anything heavier than a remote. Sarah wheeled me down to the exit. Hospital policy. I could have walked, but she insisted. "You planning on getting hit by any more SUVs?" she asked, smirking. "Not today." She handed me a small envelope. "Your paperwork's inside. Med schedules on top." I added a cheat sheet for the weird codes. "Thanks." She paused. "You're gonna be okay, Alex." I looked at her. "You memorized my name?" "I don't forget the quiet ones." I smiled, a real one for the first time in weeks. We didn't exchange numbers. Didn't make vague promises to keep in touch. That would have ruined it. Some moments aren't meant to be stretched. They're just meant to exist. And as I stepped out into the cool fall air, hospital bag in hand, I realized I wasn't thinking about Emma. Not even a little. Emma waited at the kitchen table with divorce papers and a lit candle. Her attempt at control disguised as peace. She offered me the house if I didn't interfere with her new life. I didn't argue. I countersigned with evidence of her misconduct and neglect during my recovery. When she realized she couldn't manipulate me anymore, the smirk faded. For the first time, she cried. I had nothing left to give her. In court, Emma played the victim, blaming jealousy and emotional distance. But I had proof: the video, receipts, emails, and hospital records. The judge ruled in my favor: no alimony, no property claims. She sat frozen, humiliated. After I met Tom at a diner. No speeches, just black coffee and quiet closure. Days later, I brought flowers to Sarah. No promises, just peace. For the first time in years, I felt free.